our mics on.
Yeah, we turn the mics on.
Okay.
That way they can kind of hear us. And
yeah, well, they can hear
kind of preview.
Anyway.
Yeah, preview what we're doing.
Right. I mean, I think I'll still go ahead and preview that lake next week because it'll be kind of fun. There's some big names in it to talk about and stuff like that. And heck, it's football, you know. I know the talent level's not going to be anywhere near what the NFL is. That's obvious. It might not even be as good as a regular SEC game, you know, during the season. So, what are you doing now? So, if anybody jumping in yet? Come on, people, where you at? Where's my Facebook people? So,
you're coming across my mic. You're not going across your. Oh, that's why.
Yeah, there you go. Turn the mics on. Come on now.
You got to turn the right mics on.
This is what
if I turn the right mics on, I'll be all right.
See, I know how to run a soundboard, but DiamondBack's not letting me do it here. So. But this is the kind of stuff that goes on before the show. We debate stuff and argue about who does what, and you know. But we're going to keep you up to date tonight, too, on the Blue Jackets playing up in Winnipeg and the Ohio State women taking on Illinois. Both games start at 7 o'clock. So we'll have live updates throughout the show on those two sports for you, those two teams.
So we're going to talk about professional skatey punchy tonight.
Exactly.
All right.
We're going to talk about a lot of that tonight. Well, not a lot. You know, because like I said before, Diamondback, in case you weren't paying attention a minute ago, tonight will be NFL heavy.
I know.
I mean, SB 53 is coming up on Sunday.
What?
The end of
Isn't it kind of funny that we have to say SB 53?
Yeah.
But we can say former Super Bowls or Super Bowl history. Yeah.
So
they won't. They don't get mad about that.
Have you heard what WCOL's doing? They're having a bowling thing tomorrow.
Bowling thing, nice.
And that's called the Super Bowl-ing tournament.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Nice.
So, probably wondering what the heck's the Iconic Drew. Who am I? Iconic Drew doing listening to WCOL. We've decided at work we listen to music all day long.
Right.
But we all have a variety of taste. So we came up with the 5 stations that we could all kind of agree on. And every day, and today's country music day at True Green. So we listened to WCOL all day today. It was Friday when I originally put this together, and everybody's like, "It's too depressing on the weekend on a, country music type thing." I get that. So, but so yeah, Monday is QFM 96 day, and why? Because Monday's a tough day to go to work, so you might as well listen to the Q. Rock it out, get you through the day. Tuesday is WNCI day. I had to give him one day, and one day. I had to give him one day. Wednesday is Jack FM day.
Go.
Okay. Thursday, obviously, WCOL as discussed. Tomorrow, Fridays are the day belonging to Sunny 95. Kind of, a little pump-up music gets you through the weekend. I didn't even bring up the Blitz. I wanted to bring up the Blitz, but I was like, these people can't handle that. They can't handle.
They can't handle metal.
No, they can't handle the Blitz.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
I think metal's finally starting to die.
When is
unfortunately,
the NBA All-Star game?
The 15th.
Okay, so we don't need to mention it this week. All right.
Yeah, I do believe it's 15th.
We will preview it next week.
Because I made the mistake.
I think, man, that would be a good show. Next week we can preview that new league coming out, preview the NBA All-Star game, talk about the Cavs that are playing, if any, the Pistons, and your team, which isn't coming to me now.
Red, yellow, white.
Hawks.
There you
Hawks.
go.
Oh, Atlanta does have a team in that new league.
And Reflex, remember, it's Diamondback, not
so
that other name.
So we can cover those two things next week. Not NASCAR yet, because that's 2 weeks away. NASCAR doesn't start until, so the show's already coming together in my mind next week.
So, see, I mean, all you have to do is...
The crew's coming up soon. Crew starts pretty soon.
We're 15 seconds away.
I know. I'm ready to rock and roll. Don't worry.
You ready to rock?
You know it. Come on. I'm the iconic Drew. Of course I'm ready to rock and roll.
You sure?
Yeah.
I confused.
I'm positive.
And we are live.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Ferocious Bunny Productions presents the Iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show. I am, of course, the Iconic Drew. Join with me, as always, my sidekick, Diamondback. How's it going, Diamondback? How was your week?
Doing good, doing good, doing good.
It's good. It's good to see you again. You know, we've known each other for over 20 years now, and getting together once a week to do this little show here. But we are coming to you live from Diamondback's basement. Of course, we are in the penthouse of the basement.
Yes, we are in the penthouse.
Yeah, we are in the penthouse. Let's get that phone number right off the bat tonight because I always forget. 614-996-8389.
That's 614-996-8389.
And that is, of course, the hashtag saved the crew phone line. We were talking about the crew a little bit right before we came on the air tonight. And the fact that season starts pretty soon. We'll be previewing them pretty soon and getting into baseball, NASCAR, a bunch of good stuff coming up. But tonight is SB 53 heavy. We're going to talk a lot about the NFL, talk about our predictions on that game. And neither one of us know each other's predictions at this point. Isn't that right, Diamondback?
That's right.
So I have no idea who he's picking. He has no idea who I'm picking. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, you can tell, though, by looking at the iconic dude that he needs to go visit Todd. We do want to thank Todd for Todd's Barbershop for, of course, being a sponsor of this show. And we do appreciate you, Todd. Give us a call. Anybody. 614-996-8389. Most calls we've had on the 2-hour show is 3. See if we can break that record tonight.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Get your SB53 predictions.
The phone is charging. I did leave it off the hook from the other week, but
so hopefully it'll still ring. Phone is charging right now. So let's start talking about the Ohio teams and get into this. Let's start with the Columbus Blue Jackets, who, by the way, do play tonight. We'll be giving you live updates of that game tonight. They're up in Winnipeg taking on the Jets. So let's look at that. Well, first of all, when we look at the CBJ, the first thing we need to look at is what they did in the All-Star game. Now, I'm on record as saying I'm not a big fan of All-Star games, but I love the way the National Hockey League does their All-Star games.
That's the thing. You got to love how some of these do it. I mean, baseball used to do a real nice job with they made the All-Star game mean something.
Right, and I'm not a fan of it anymore since that went away.
Yeah.
So I'm on record of saying that. I think that, I mean, to me, the best All-Star game now is the National Hockey League. Yeah. The way they set this up, they had the Western divisions play each other first, 2 semifinals and then a final, which, of course, the final features the 2 semifinal winners. So you've got Central taking on Pacific and then Metro taking on the Atlantic. Yeah. And then the winners play each other. Now, so that's a good setup.
Are these full games or what?
No.
Or they're just like miniature?
No,
5-minute quarters or 5-minute periods.
They're actually 10-minute halves.
10-minute halves.
10-minute halves.
Oh, okay.
And then the goalies only play 1 half.
Yes, Reflex. We're talking about professional, Skatey Punchy, All-Star game. Trying
to make Killer upset right off the bat. So I don't know about all that, but anyway. So that was the setup. The first semifinal, Central's beat Pacific 10-4. We don't really care because that's not the division the Columbus Blue Jackets are in. So the Jackets are, of course, in the Metro, and the Metro took on Atlantic and won 7-4. So the Columbus Blue Jackets goals and assists in that game. Goal number 2 was scored by Seth Jones, and the assist was from Cam Atkinson. So the Jackets took care of that goal completely. Goal number 3. Seth Jones had the goal again, and this time he was unassisted. So no helpers on that one.
No helps.
Then goal number 7 scored by Cam Atkinson, and he had some helpers on there, but they're from other teams, so we're not mentioning them. Then in the final, Metro took on Central, and Metro won 10-5. So as we all knew the Metropolitan Division is the best division in hockey, and has the best teams in it.
Biased much?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least I admit it.
I needed to know.
Yeah, I know. At least I admit it. So, yeah, biased completely. I mean, you look at those 4 teams at the top. We'll get to the standings later on.
What division the Blue Jackets are in?
The Metropolitan. Okay. The best division in hockey.
All right.
So, just like 3 of my favorite baseball teams are in the best division in baseball. I know. You want to say choose one, don't you? Not going to happen. So anyway, in this game, Metro did beat Central 10-5. The Columbus Blue Jackets goals and assists in that game. Goal number 4, Seth Jones had an assist.
Seth Jones.
Doesn't matter who scored.
Goal number 7, Cam Atkinson had an assist. Again, doesn't matter who scored. Just talking about the Jackets. Goal number 8, Cam Atkinson with the goal, unassisted. And then Cam Atkinson picks up goal number 10 as well with an assist from Seth Jones. So the Jackets took care of that one completely. That was nice.
He didn't even mention the other team players.
This is the Ohio team update.
Even if they helped.
This is the Ohio team update. We're not going to talk about other teams in the Ohio segment. Although I know last week we talked about meat chicken quite a bit in this segment.
I mean, that's the hated team of the Ohio teams.
So a quick update for women's basketball. OSU women's basketball. We said we'd update this through the night. Right now it's tied at 10. They are taking on Illinois. So go Lady Bucks. The Blue Jackets are getting ready to start very shortly up in Winnipeg. So go Jackets as well. Speaking of the Jackets, back to them. They on January 29th took on the Sabres at home and lost 5-4. But the Jackets' goals and assists in that game. Pierre-Luc Dubois with a goal, Ryan Murray and Cam Atkinson with the assist. Nick Foligno and had the goal, and then Panarin and Luc Dubois had the assist in that goal. Brandon Dubinsky had the next goal. Scott Harrington and Josh Anderson with the assist. And then, yes, Cam Atkinson had the goal. Ryan Murray and Panarin with the assist. So, Jackets really need to win tonight. They have now lost. Is it up to 4? I believe it's up to 4 games in a row. So we need to, the Jackets need to turn things around, and that's why winning this game up in Winnipeg is very important. Take care of the Jets. Next week, that's the first game. We'll be talking about this game next week on the show. The Jackets are at the Jets right now. On the 2nd, they take on the Blues, which is Saturday, and then on the 5th, they're at the Avalanche. So those are their 3 games coming up this week.
Nice.
For our Columbus Blue Jackets. Then, let's talk about, I did not mention the Blue Jackets record going into tonight's game. They are 28-18-3. We will look at the standings later during the NHL segment of the show, the NHL and NBA segment of the show. So then we'll see where they are compared to the other teams in the Metro. Again, the best division in hockey. And I don't even think that Killer would debate me. Oh, he might. Killer might debate me on that. But we'll see. Little spoiler alert on the Cavs, by the way. Moving over to the Cavs now. They don't have the worst record in the NBA anymore. We'll go to the NBA standings later, and I'll let you know who now has the worst record in the NBA. But it's not the Cavs. Do you have a guess? I know you haven't looked at the NBA standings today.
No, I have not looked at it. I'm going to rule out my Hawks.
Yeah, it's not the Hawks. I'll give you a hint. It is an Eastern team.
It is an Eastern team. Well, I kind of figured that.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. The Knicks? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm trying to think of teams that's in the East.
Nailed it. It's the Knicks.
Is it? Nice.
Yes, it's the Knicks, but we will get to the standings later, and I'll let you know what their record is. The New York Knickerbockers in last place.
I could rule out Boston, I could rule out Miami, but it was like, and then I'm like I'm running out of teams that I actually know.
Right. Oh, my goodness. That's kind of sad. So, anyhow, back to the Cavs now, who are 11-41.
11-41.
Right now. They, on the 25th, lost at home to the Heat, 100-94. In that game, C.D. Osman had 29 points. Then, on the 27th, they go to Chicago, the Windy City, and get a win. How about them Cavs? Get a win. 104-101, and Alec Burks had 18 points in that game. Then, they followed up with a second win in a row. This, I believe, is their longest winning streak of the season. The Cavs win again, this time at home against the Wizards, 116-113. In that game, Jordan Clarkson had 28 points. So how about those Cavs? 2-1 last week. It's pretty good for the Cavs. In fact, that's a heck of a week for them. That's good.
Are you being happy for that Cleveland team?
No, but that's a heck of a stint. You got to hand it to them.
I'm just saying, you got a little bit of enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly. 2-1. Well, we've not seen that since LeBron left. So Oh, by the way, quick NBA update while I'm on it. LeBron's still out with the groin injury. Found that out today.
Yeah.
He's been out since Christmas.
You
Come on, LeBron. Play some basketball.
I'm
going to call him out right now.
You hurt that area, and, you're kind of down a little bit.
So, coming up for the Cavs next week. On Saturday, they play the Mavs. That's the second. And then the 5th, they're at home against the Celtics. They got 2 games at home. See what the Cavs can do with that. What do you think? What do you think they do this week? They win those games, or one game's the Celtics, another game's the Mavericks, in case you didn't know.
Not knowing the Mavericks thing, I'm going to say they're going to lose both of those.
And I'm going to say I agree with you. I think I'll go 0-2. I think I won't be as enthusiastic about the Cavs next week.
Okay.
Man.
You just threw a lot of excitement behind them, and I'm like going, holy crap.
Yeah, well, you got to report on the team, and that's the team right now, the Cavs. So they're the Ohio team.
Okay.
So, and the fact that they're in Cleveland, I mean, that's their problem, not mine.
Oh,
so,
ouch.
Anyway, the phone number, 614-996-8389. That is the hashtag Save the Crew phone line. So, let's talk about the Ohio State men's basketball team.
Okay.
So, they had a decent week last week. They went 1-1. Their first game on the 26th at Nebraska, they won 70-60. That was last Saturday. Luther Muhammad in that game had 24 points. But then on the 29th, they took on the 5th-ranked Meat Chicken team up in Meat Chicken.
You won't even say their name in basketball.
And lost 65-49. Caleb Weston had 12 points. There was this big deal going on Facebook right after this game, and I had watched parts of the game, through the evening. And someone posted, "Oh, big fight at the OSU Meat Chicken game. The rivalry lives on," and all this other kind of stuff. So I check it out. A couple guys shoving each other. One guy threw an air punch. No big deal. Nobody connected.
So we have a game of hoop punching?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like the big fight between the Pacers and the Pistons back in the day. I don't know if you remember that one that spilled into the crowd.
Yeah, it spilled into the crowd.
Yeah. Players going up into the crowd to fight people. I was like, wow, that was a real fight.
There's quite a bit of people there.
That went too far. So a big update now for OSU women's basketball. 14-13 Lady Bucks. They're ahead. The Jackets and Winnipeg Jets game has yet to begin. I'm sure it'll begin soon. So you're asking yourself, what is the OSU men's basketball record now after a win and loss?
Actually, I am.
13-7.
13-7.
13-7. So I'm looking at this. I'm going, okay, guys, just eke out maybe 5, 6, 7 more wins. Get to 20. Get to 20, and you can make the tournament. Just get to 20. 20 seems to be the cutoff.
The magic number. You hit 20, you're more than likely in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's the one thing about men's basketball with the college that I do understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand much. But
well, you're a Bama fan, so it's understandable that you wouldn't understand basketball. That's
we're
not.
Gonna talk football?
It's not a sport they care about down there. So.
They really don't.
Yeah, let Kentucky get even with you.
Yeah.
And pretty much you guys just trade blows back and forth on that.
Yeah.
So what's up next week for the OSU men's basketball team, you want to know? They are taking on Rutgers at home on Saturday. And now, I think that's a winnable game. They lost at Rutgers early in the season, in case you forgot. And I think they get their revenge on Saturday, get up to 14-7. That's my prediction for their record for next week.
Okay.
14-7.
14-7.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead and look then at the OSU women's basketball team. See how they did last week. And right now they are playing, of course, against Illinois. And the OSU women's basketball team at home up 17-14. Once again, the Blue Jackets game has not. The puck has not been dropped yet. The official puck for the game.
Yeah, that one starts
the game
at
is,
8 p.m.
Oh, it starts at 8 instead of 7. Okay. Gotcha. See, that's what happens when they're on the road. They play at different times. At home, most of the time it's 7. So, yeah, the game starts at 8, folks. I'll quit saying, oh, the puck hasn't dropped yet, because it's not dropping until 8 o'clock. My bad. I thought it started at 7.
We got 45 minutes. Would you like me to do a little countdown on?
No, I'm good. Thank you. That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. No problem at all. So, let's go ahead and look at OSU women's basketball team this last week. They split too. They had a loss on the 24th against Maryland, 70-57. That was the game we were keeping track of here last week. But Maryland pulled away as we were wrapping up the show and talking about what we were going to talk about tonight.
Yep.
And they pulled away, and yeah. So in that game, Carly Santro had 23 points. And then on the 28th, they went to Minnesota and got a win, 65-55. So they win on the road and lose at home. But okay, 1-1 for the week. In that game, Aliyah Patty had 26 points. And the Lady Bucks win. Of course, this week they're playing right now against Illinois. And again, they are ahead in this game 17-16 right now. And then on the 3rd, they go to Northwestern. And on the 6th, they play Penn State. I'm going to say they're going to get 2 of those, 2 out of 3. I'm going to give them 2 wins next week, which would take their record to 10-11. That's my prediction for next week. Right now, of course, they are 8-10. So see what happens here next week. But Lady Bucks starting to get it together. Maybe they can make a run to the tournament too. We'll see. Only time will tell. Only time will tell on that. Then the OSU men's hockey team didn't play any games this last week, so they kept their record at 15-5-4.
They didn't go up or down.
They didn't go up or down.
Well, that's what happens when you don't play.
When you don't play, you keep the same record, Diamondback. I'm glad you realized that. I realized that been teaching you sports for the last 20 years. You're starting to catch on a little bit. So, I'm glad that you're finally catching on to the whole thing and how this works. You don't play, your record stays the same. That may be the most Captain Obvious thing you've ever said.
I'm going to come up with something stupid. That's just me.
Well, that's why we have Diamondback around. That and the technical things, everybody. He does the technical stuff really well, and we thank him for that. But basically, as far as sports go, he's kind of like, that saying at the beginning of Common Man and T-Bone, which I haven't listened to in a while since my work schedule doesn't allow me to now. But because we go to lunch at different times.
We know a little bit of something about sports.
Yes, we know a little bit of something about sports.
That actually is true with me.
That is true.
Once you get out of football, you're out, and baseball, you're kind of out of my wheelhouse.
Right. Yep. So
I mean, I do follow a little bit of NASCAR, but I've dropped out of it because of all the stupid rule changes.
When Big E calls us here in a couple weeks, maybe he can talk us both into watching more of it this year.
Big E.
Big E. That's my buddy's name. I was going to call in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Because he's the NASCAR. He is the NASCAR god. I mean, when I first met him, this is a guy that when you meet him, you go, yeah, NASCAR. And just, he's a great guy. Love Big E and all that. And we have some classes together at the Ohio Media School. Free plug for them at the moment. And, he's just, like I said, man, we have some great characters at the Ohio Media School. I mean, you've talked to Big Cass a few times. You know what he's like. And some of the other people there. It was big fun. Big fun.
It's always fun to go back and talk to people and possibly even work with some of the people you went to school with, because you know how their work ethics are and how they were, and that's who you learn with. So therefore, and yes, I did say learnt. And
that's a southern thing to say. Learned.
I'll always say that.
So next week, you're wondering who the OSU hockey team plays next week.
Yes.
Well, on the 1st, which is tomorrow, by the way, while we're talking about February 1st, I'm going to do this right now on the show. Happy birthday to my princess. Tomorrow is her birthday. Deanna will be 17 years old tomorrow. I can't believe it. I mean, you and I met before I had kids.
Yes.
And so you've known me this whole time of them coming into my world and all the ups and downs and everything involved with it. And amazing. She's going to be 17 years old. I'm almost choked up talking about it. But anyway, my princess will be 17 tomorrow, and on her birthday, the OSU men's hockey team goes to Notre Dame.
Yep.
Play them. And then they also play on the 3rd at Notre Dame as well. So, see if they can get 2 wins on that on the road. I'll take a split. Even if they get a split, I'd be happy with that. They'd be 16-6-4 after that. So, still on their way to the Frozen Four, which we will cover here like a blanket. That's going to be big. It's a big event.
Some plays, maybe do a little bit more of the production side, play a little bit on the green screens behind us.
It happens during the second week of March Madness for the men's and women's basketball tournament. So unfortunately, it doesn't get the coverage that it deserves. And the Iconic Drew is going to take care of that this year. We are going to talk about the Frozen Four hockey tournament. And, you know, I know people are going to get on me right away. Well, why aren't you talking about the OSU women's hockey team every week? Could be giving updates on them as well. And perhaps we should. Perhaps we should add them starting next week. I have no idea how they're doing.
I don't know how to. I mean, the coverage for that is very hard and few in between. I mean, so it's kind of like one of those things. It's kind of hard to talk about when you're not getting.
Well, we're going to cover a lot of fringe sports on this show. I don't want to give away too much here, but we are going to cover the new league that's coming out, the new football league that starts in a couple weeks. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about one of my favorite sports, lacrosse. And we're going to talk a lot about lacrosse because we like lacrosse here. Lacrosse, yes. Like I said, we're going to cover the fringe sports on this show. Just for fun. Just to be different than everybody else. No reason to be the same as everybody else. And who do we have joining here? Okay, we got Carrie jumping in and Greg. Hi to both of you. And anybody wants to give us a call, of course, we are at 614-996-8389, trying to break our records.
That's 614-996-8389. Hashtag
Save the crew. And speaking of the crew, yes, we will be talking soccer this year on the show as well. At least the crew. So, anyway, see how all that goes. When we come back from this break, we are going to talk about the National Basketball Association and the National Hockey League standings. And we have a trade in the association to talk about as well.
Really?
When we come back. Yeah, we have a trade.
The deadline's coming up, isn't it?
Deadline's coming up. It gets exciting this time of year.
That's on the 7th?
I want to say that's right. February 7th is the trade deadline. And I might not be right.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm hearing, I think it's the 7th that they have that for this year.
Yeah.
All right, anyways.
So, this is, of course, the Ferocious Buddy Productions presents the Iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show. When we get back, we will talk about the National Basketball Association and the National Hockey League standings and the trade.
Get a haircut and get a real job.
Are you getting shaggy? When you go home to visit your mom, does she say, "Who is the new girl?" Well, this is the Iconic Drew, and every time I need a haircut, I go see Todd at Todd's Barbershop. There are always sports on the TVs, and everyone gives their opinion on sports. Sometimes even topics from the Iconic Drew and cast of characters sports opinion show. Todd has been cutting hair for over 18 years, and he's very personable. He will give his opinion on sports and anything else we're discussing. If you want to get a great haircut at an old-fashioned barbershop, go see Todd the Barber at Todd's Barbershop, located at 3867 Latimer Street, Hilliard, Ohio, in the heart of downtown Hilliard, near Columbus, Ohio. Hours are Tuesday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Thursday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then on Saturday from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Closed on Sunday and Monday because Todd is a family man. So if you need a haircut, do what the Iconic Drew would do. Go see Todd at Todd's Barbershop.
Welcome back to the Ferocious Buddy Productions presents the Iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show. And as I promised, we will update the OSU women's basketball game as the evening unfolds. Right now, we're tied at 22, taking on Illinois. Go Lady Bucks. Let's get this win. This would be a big win for us. As you can see, we are in the National Basketball Association segment of the show now, with the Pistons behind me on the green screen and the Atlanta Hawks behind Diamondback, still hanging on to a team from Atlanta. So let's go ahead and talk about the trade first. By the way, the new league has a team in Atlanta. So anyhow, the Mavericks get Porzingis, and they send Smith and 2 number 1s to the Knicks. So that's the big trade in the NBA and the association. More trades to come as the trade deadline approaches, but nonetheless, the Mavs get this guy from the Knicks named Porzingis, and they send Smith and 2 number 1s to the Knicks. So Knicks trying to rebuild with those picks, and as we had talked about earlier, as we alluded to, Diamondback actually guessed it. Which team has the worst record in the National Basketball Association right now? I'll give you a hint. They're not in Ohio. It was the Cavs for the longest time this season, but now it is the Knicks.
Knicks.
The Knicks are 10-40. The Cavs are 11-41. So they're going to fight for that spot all season long. I have heard some Cavs fans talking about, let's go ahead and tank the season so that we can get that number one pick, have a better shot at getting the number one pick. In the NBA, you don't automatically get the number one pick with the worst record. I don't know if you knew that or not, Diamondback.
No, you got a lottery.
You got a lottery. You
see,
do know that.
Some of the things I do know. And I play stupid, but in this case, I can't. I actually know that.
So where are the Atlanta Hawks? Right now, the Atlanta Hawks are 16-34. They are exactly 20 and a half games out of first place. Meanwhile, the Pistons have fallen all the way to 10th. And they are 15 games out of first place, but only 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. So we still got a shot there. Go Pistons. Then in the Eastern Conference for the rest of the conference, in 8th place you got the Hornets. Then you have the Heat, the Nets, the Celtics, the Pacers, 76ers, Raptors, and in first place the Bucks. Raptors are only a half game back. Your 76ers, their AP, are 4 games back. Pacers are 4.5, Celtics 5, Nets are at 6.5. And then, 9.5. Heat are 12 games out, and the Hornets are 12.5 games out. So that's how your Eastern Conference looks at this point right now. My Pistons and your Hawks, either one would be in the playoffs. So Pistons still have a shot, but see what happens here. See if they can't figure out a way to make it into the playoffs. Then out west. Worst team out west. The Suns at 11-42. So they have as many wins as the Cavs and one more loss. So there you go. Then the Lakers, a team we follow quite a bit here because of LeBron James. They are in 9th place right now. Speaking of LeBron, he's not playing yet. Still has that groin injury. Still out until, I don't know. Until it's better, I guess. I thought he'd be back by now. But they are in 9th place, 10.5 games out. So they're still in shot of a playoff at this point, but they need to get him back. They're exactly 2 games out of 8th place. And speaking of 8th place, who's in 8th? The Clippers. The other team in LA. So the Clippers are in 8th. Then the Jazz, Spurs, Rockets, Trailblazers, Thunder, Nuggets, Warriors. The Warriors have a 1-game lead over the Nuggets. And then the Thunder are 4 games out. Trailblazers 5, Rockets 7, Spurs 7 as well, so that's a virtual tie. Jazz 8 games out, Clippers 8.5. So there's your NBA standings currently.
I don't know if you have a problem with the whole 2 teams in one. I mean, I know we got the Jets and the Giants,
right? Who play in
New York,
live in Jersey, and play in anyway, they're New York teams and they play in Jersey.
Right.
Part of the reason people from Jersey are so salty.
Stadium.
Right.
Both LA teams in football do that. Now we have had 2 of them. I've never really had a problem with 2 teams as long as they were not in the same division or same conference.
Right.
This kind of bothers me.
Yeah, because they're in the same conference.
They're in the same conference.
Right.
There's no. I have a problem with this. I don't like it.
So Diamondback's brought up an interesting topic, and I think he makes a good point. I kind of feel like, this whole being in the same city is one thing. Right. Like the Jets and Giants, for example, in the NFL. They at least are in, one's an NFC team, one's an AFC team.
Correct.
You could conceivably be a fan of both teams. And now the LA's done the same thing. The Rams and Chargers are in separate conferences. So you could be a fan of both teams. Yeah. But being a fan of both the Clippers and Lakers, the Clippers have always been thought of as the Lakers, little brother.
Right.
And right now, they're ahead of them by 2 games. Now, granted, Big Brother doesn't have LeBron. right now, and that's a big loss, not having LeBron James.
That is a huge loss.
And the fact that they're only 2 games out of a playoff spot without LeBron, and we were talking about this before we went on the air tonight about the possibility of Anthony Davis from the Pelicans going to the Lakers. And the so-called experts of the National Basketball Association, which you'll never accuse me of being, but the people who call themselves experts of that sport are saying that if Anthony Davis goes there, if he plays with LeBron, they'll be the only team in the West that can challenge the Warriors.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of interesting. I did listen to this trade or listen to this whole ordeal about how this trade is possibly coming to play.
Yeah.
And you said Anthony Davis, correct?
Anthony Davis. That's his name. And he's one of the best players in the league. Wish he'd go to Detroit, but that's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen. He's going to go to some place that he can.
Well, he wants to go to a place he can win, and if you play with LeBron, you could win.
You can. I'm
not saying you will, but you could.
Fined $50,000. That's like me and you getting fined $100.
Yeah. Some weeks that's bad, but anyway.
Some weeks, yeah, that would be bad. But no, I'm just saying it's just like me and you getting fined $100.
Yeah.
Over the case of a year, he can just boom.
Yeah.
No big deal. But this is just because his agent went out and said he's interested in moving on. That's kind of a. I mean, I know. I think
they call it tampering in the NBA. It's one of those things where they're not allowed to talk about things before. And what's funny is, us guys in the media, we talk about it all the time. Where can this guy go? And the funnest part about the NBA is imagining putting together super teams. And believe me, I wish it would happen in Detroit. It's not going to happen. They've got one superstar up there, the guy from the Clippers. Name fails me at the moment. But that's how big I follow my own team. Anyway, so, putting together super teams is one of the funnest parts about talking about the NBA. Because you can imagine 4 or 5 guys playing together and it running the league. Because you can't do that in any other sport. You can't necessarily do that.
I think that's why I have a problem with the NBA.
Yeah.
I do not like
the super teams.
Idea. No, I don't have a problem with the super teams. I mean, come on, you might as well say the Patriots are a super team of.
Well, but
of that.
We're going to get to the NFL, but
I'm using that as an example.
Yeah, no, but the thing about them is just 2 people.
Right.
Those only 2 consistent people.
And it's the coach
and quarterback.
That's it.
Right.
And they have nothing to do with really each other than what do you want me to go out there and do, coach?
The pieces have been moving through the years. That's the impressive part about that team, and we'll get to that. I know. I use an example. It's a good example. It's a good example.
That's a team. The owners, the GMs, they all do that type of stuff. Here, it's not set up that way. The inmates are running the
inmates are running the asylum, which is something I've heard about the association. That's the non-fun side of this,
and that's where I have the problem with it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that what makes it fun being in the media, being a media person, is just having this imagination of going, okay, if we got LeBron and we got Anthony Davis together, and then if they pick up this guy over here, what if they get Kyrie Irving from the Boston Celtics to come play for him? Oh, wow. Those 3 guys playing together, taking on the Warriors Super 3? Boy, that would be a fun series to watch. And I got to tell you, as a sports fan, I'm watching that series. And I'm not a big NBA fan. I'm watching that series because of the guys who are playing in it.
Right. No, and there's nothing wrong, as I said, with the super team, but I think this should be the GMs and the owners running this.
The part that bugs me is being a Piston fan. And the fact that we, the Pistons, are not going to compete against these super teams.
No, they're not. The
and
Hawks will never
it sucks.
Compete.
I mean, I've watched them win 2 NBA championships in my lifetime. And that's going to be it. I don't think they'll win another one. Because people aren't going to Detroit. Why? Why would you go to Detroit and play basketball? You live in a cold environment. Why wouldn't you go to L.A.? And the only reason people went to Cleveland was because LeBron was there. That's it.
Now, that's possible. You got a point there, and I'm not saying it just so happened that you had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in the same. That's not something they set up.
No.
They had these two players, and boom, and then all of a sudden, and that's probably where this idea all came from.
Sure.
Because they had that rotation of that third player.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, like Big Cass was pointing out last week with Ohio State men's basketball team, why are they struggling? Because they don't have that second scorer to take over. When Caleb Weston gets in trouble, what do the Buckeyes do? You know. Yeah. Just like almost every team in the NBA probably has one legitimate superstar on their team, but it's not enough to carry your team.
No, it's not enough to carry your team, especially with you got the Warriors, the Lakers now are talking about building this dynasty, you know, out of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking, as I said, and that's where I have the problem with the super teams in the NBA, because it's not set up and design. I'm not saying they can't have a little bit of word in, hey, I would like to play with this guy. You know, I'm not saying don't give LeBron a voice.
Yeah.
Hey, I can my style and his style mesh really well.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Listen to the player. But
right.
Don't let the players run this. I mean, and that's exactly what's happening, and that's why I have a problem with the association.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, I will admit, as a sports fan, when do I tune into the NBA? Yeah. The Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals.
That's pretty much it.
And the NBA Finals. Because right now, I can tell you, based on where these teams are at, and I don't even follow the league that close, the Warriors are going to be in the finals. Unless the Lakers get Anthony Davis, they can make a run at them. Because nobody else in the West is going to stop the Warriors. And Boston's probably going to win the East, which means you've got Golden State versus Boston in the finals. Yeah. And I hate to say it, but I'll probably be rooting for Golden State. So, because of where that Celtics team is from. But the fact is that, I mean, maybe you pull for Boston because they are the underdog, and America loves the underdog and all of that type of thing. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough call. Everybody on Facebook, give me your SB53 predictions. Let's go. I see there's 3 of you watching me right now. I want who you're picking. You can give a score if you want to. That's absolutely fine. Tonight we are going to be NFL heavy. And I believe it's time to move on to, right now, the National Hockey League.
Professional Skatey Punchy.
All right. And looking at the standings in the National Hockey League, first, we're going to start with the Western Conference Pacific Division. As you can see now, the Blue Jackets are behind me, and the Calgary Flames are behind Diamondback. He, once again, is basically a Baltimore Ravens fan. If you didn't already know this, the Baltimore Ravens are the old Cleveland Browns of the NFL, and the Calgary Flames are the old Atlanta Flames of the, not the Atlanta Thrashers, right?
No,
the Atlanta Flames.
Not the Thrashers. They are the Atlanta Flames.
Yep.
From the old saying of Hot Atlanta.
From Hot Atlanta, and they took their game to a cold place to Calgary, and he still followed them there. So basically, during this segment, he's a Ravens fan. He'll be always referred to as a Ravens fan, and that's the way it is. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. By the way, update time for OSU women's basketball. OSU is up 27-26 over the Fighting Illini. Go Lady Bucks. See if we can get that win tonight. The Blue Jackets do start skate
puck
up.
Drops in 19 minutes.
Yep, puck drops in 19 minutes up in Winnipeg as they take on the Jets. Speaking of the Jets, let's start with them because they're number 1 in the Western Conference Central Division. And then we have the Predators, the Wild, and the Stars. Points-wise for those 4 teams, the Jets are going into tonight with 66 points. The Preds have 64. The Wild have 56, and the Stars have 54. Normally, out of those 4 teams, I would be rooting for the Jets, but not tonight, obviously, because tonight they're the hated Jets taking on our Columbus Blue Jackets. Then we go out to the Pacific Division. Who do we think's in first place in the Pacific Division, Diamondback?
Oh, let me go out on a limb here and say the Flames.
You would be absolutely correct. The Baltimore Ravens are in first place in that division. And then you have, and the Flames, by the way, have 71 points. The Sharks are second with 65. Golden Knights from Las Vegas. Now, there's a team to like.
I do like that name. I really like that name. They really did well with that.
They have 62 points. The Vancouver Canucks are in fourth with 52 points in that division. And as you heard Killer break this down last week, Now the Iconic Drew completely understands the playoff scenarios in the NHL. I'm not sure I can explain them, but I understand them. I thought about that this whole week, Diamondback. I was like, okay, I understand now what Killer said and how the playoffs are set up for the National Hockey League. Not saying I completely like it, but I completely understand it. Could I sit here and explain it to you like Killer did last week? No. Come on. Killer's an expert when it comes to this sport.
I didn't even think about trying to understand it, and after he explained it, and it's now clear as mud.
So going to the Eastern Conference, the Atlantic Division, the Lightning are in first place in that division with 76 points. Maple Leafs second with 62, and Lightning 76. Maple Leafs at 62, Canadiens at 61, and then let's hear it for that city of Boston. The Bruins are at 60. And then moving over to the best division in hockey, the Metro Division.
Biased.
That's fine. From now on, we'll be referred to as the best conference.
The biased.
The best division in hockey. Even if they're not, they will be referred to as that. The Metropolitan Division. In first place, the Islanders. They have 63 points. The Pens from Pittsburgh have 60. The Caps also have 60. And going into tonight's game, that's why this game is so important for the Columbus Blue Jackets, they are in fourth place now in that division at 59 points. So, big win for the Jackets. If they get that tonight with 61, they would instantly be in second place in the best division in hockey.
Nice.
So, we'll see what happens and see if they can pull that off. Meanwhile, been asking for SB53 predictions. Don't have any yet from any of you. So, come on, Facebook world. Come across with that. Just all you got to do is type in Rams, Patriots, and give a score if you want to. Absolutely fine.
Looks like Reflex is going with the Rams.
So there you go.
So we do have that.
So Rams from Reflex. And
God, likes our window.
He likes our window?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, and by the way, another update for the OSU women before we go to this break. The OSU women are now up 34-26.
Halftime.
And it's halftime in that game. Go Lady Bucks. Well on our way to a victory there. Got an 8-point lead. Hopefully they can hang on Sloopy and win that game. Take care of business the rest of the way through. And, yes, the puck does drop between the Winnipeg Jets and our Columbus Blue Jackets here very shortly.
15 minutes.
When we come back from this break, though, it is time to get heavy on the National Football League. And a lot to talk about in the National Football League. Talk about Super Bowl history, make our predictions of SB53. Hopefully some of you in Facebook world will actually listen to me and give some predictions. Did you have something else you want to say about the world of the NHL before we move on there, Diamondback? You got that look on your face.
No, I don't have much to say on it at all.
Okay. So, this is... he throws me off with stuff, folks. And we'll talk about this during the break, so those of you in Facebook world will see that. So, this is the Ferocious Money Productions presents the Iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show. Once again, our phone number is 614-996-8389. That is the hashtag Save the Crew phone number. When we get back, it is time to dig heavy into the National Football League. Welcome back, everybody, to a Ferocious Bunny Productions presents the iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show. For those of you watching him at LMS DiAmOnDbAcK on YouTube, you'll see that behind me is one of the best franchises in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and behind Diamondback, the Atlanta Falcons. Our number, once again, 614-996-8389.
And that's 614-996-8389.
That
Hashtag
saved the crew. Thank God they're still in Columbus. So, anyway, and we're going to get into the crew later on in the season here, but as they get started. But anyhow, right now we are going to concentrate on the National Football League. Yes, football. Real football. Not to shadow too much, but real football. Real pro football. So, you got the big game. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that yet. It's too early in the show. We'll make our predictions later on, Diamondback. Don't get crazy on me here.
The Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills. Now, there's a team to pick in the Super Bowl. Wow.
Oh, wait. It's not 1990s, is it?
It's not the 90s, no.
They don't have Jim Kelly anymore?
No, they don't.
Oh.
So, we are going to make our SB53 predictions later on in the show. We'll bet the points that we've earned and figure out
45. You got 29.
Yeah, it's ugly. Like I said before, I still think Chiefs are on paper a better team than the Patriots. But the Patriots have two people that nobody else has. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And I got to tell you, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who wins this game Sunday. Tom Brady's the GOAT. I'll say it right now. He's the GOAT. He is the greatest quarterback of all time.
This is his 9th?
Yes.
Super Bowl.
He has actually now played, come Sunday, he will have played in more Super Bowls than any franchise in Super Bowl history.
Correct.
Any franchise. That is amazing.
Yeah, one person.
One person will have played
same
in
team.
9 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And even if they lose, he's still the GOAT.
No, I mean...
Who's better? Who is a better quarterback now? Who's done more as a quarterback than Tom Brady?
Who's done more is the thing. Now, better quarterback overall, if you're just looking at what they've...
Well, if you just look at stats...
The stats.
If you just compare stats, he's probably not.
Yeah.
But he's accomplished more.
Yeah. He's made it to the big dance more than anybody
Dan
else.
Marino...
And that makes him...
Dan Marino didn't even played in one.
And lost.
Which we're going to get to, that game. But he played in one Super Bowl and lost. Yet, his coach is also, as we found out last week, thanks to my buddy Dave, the winningest coach in the history of the NFL, Don Shula.
Don Shula, yes.
So, and we were guessing Chuck Noll. Good guesses, by the way.
Yeah.
Tom Landry. We had some good guesses coming out. But, the fact that Bill Cowher, maybe, I don't know. I was kidding. Anyway, we were talking about...
I don't think he was even on the top 10.
He was not. But I'll tell you what. Like I've said...
Belichick's not even on the top 10.
Like I've said, and that's amazing.
He's number 11, I do believe.
Right. And he may stick around long enough to get in the top 10 before it's all said and done. So, but you got to say it. You have to admit it, folks. Anybody disagrees with me, call. We'll debate it. But Tom Brady is the best quarterback. He's the GOAT.
Yes.
He's the GOAT.
As I said, I will say that up to accomplishments.
Right, exactly.
Well,
heck, we compared the stats last week between him and Patrick Mahomes from that game between them and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes had more yards, had a better completion rate, had more touchdowns than Tom Brady. But did he win?
No.
Of course not. No. Why? Because they have Tom Brady and they have Bill Belichick. They're the difference makers.
I've said this before on the show. You sat here and watched the Super Bowl with the Falcons and the
Patriots.
Matter of fact, it was that, and everybody's like looking at me, going, "Why aren't you happy? They're up by 4 touchdowns." Because Tom Brady's still on the field.
Because Tom Brady's still standing at this point and can still throw the ball.
Yeah.
Or hand it off. And it's Bill Belichick. He'll make the adjustments. He does. No one in the NFL right now is a head coach. There's not another head coach in the league that makes better in-game adjustments than Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
It pains me to say it, but it's true.
it shouldn't pain you to say that. I know you don't like the Patriots because of their success.
I respect the heck out of them.
You got to respect the heck out of them, but I know you don't like that. But you really got to like Bill Belichick because he did not do this for the Cleveland Browns when he coached them.
It's true. It's true.
Kinda,
what if he had been a good coach then?
Well, he was a good coach then.
He just didn't have the talent.
He had Art Modell.
Yeah, he had Art Modell. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Baltimore
like
Ravens / Calgary Flames. And so, he had that situation going on. But
all I'm going to say is, wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, my Facebook world not cooperating. Come on, we need some predictions for the game tonight, and we can talk about it. The game. And SB53, who's going to win? Why? Tell me why, too. We wanted to get into this. And once again, we're at 614-996-8389 if you want to give us a call. But what do you say we take a look at down memory lane here? Talk about Super Bowl history here for just a few moments.
You told me you were going to use that. I was going to do that.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah. So, since we are broadcasting from the penthouse of DiAmOnDbAcK's basement, we might as well have some Wayne's World references. Camera 1, camera 2. Anyway, so have some some Wayne's World references. Let's go all the way back to Super Bowl I. Packers beat the Chiefs 35-10 in this game. The MVP was Bart Starr, the quarterback of the Packers. Super Bowl II, Packers beat the Raiders. I think the Raiders were in Oakland at that time. It's hard to say with the Raiders. But anyway, Green Bay wins that game too, 33-14. MVP again, Bart Starr, 2 for 2. Then Super Bowl III, things start getting interesting. The upstart AFC. And Joe Namath makes a prediction, says, I guarantee a victory. Has there been anybody that's guaranteed a victory this week, Diamondback, that you've heard? I have not.
No.
I don't think anybody has between these two teams.
They're being very down to earth right now.
But he won the MVP that day, backing it up and beating the Colts 16-7. Then in Super Bowl IV, the Chiefs beat the Vikings 23-7. MVP, Lynn Dawson, QB of the Chiefs. Then the Cowboys start getting in the mix, but they lose to the Colts in Super Bowl V, 16-13. But it's one of the few times that a player from the losing team won the MVP. Linebacker Chuck Helley of the Cowboys won the award and lost the game.
So then so you're saying it's one of the few times. So how many times has this happened?
Well, let's keep track of it as we move along. That's one.
Another one?
That's one. And I think it might be the only one. We'll see.
Okay.
Let's move along.
I was just curious.
Super Bowl VI. Cowboys finally get on the winning side, beating the Dolphins 24-3. MVP Roger Staubach. Heck of a quarterback.
Heck of a quarterback, yes.
Then the Dolphins beat the Redskins in Super Bowl VII, 14-7. Jake Scott, safety from the Dolphins, wins the MVP. Once again, the winning team.
Okay.
Dolphins then win Super Bowl VIII. Back-to-back championships for the Miami Dolphins as they beat the Vikings 24-7. Larry Zonka, fullback. Man, I remember that guy. He was a beast. He'd run right over you.
A little bit before my time, but
yeah, he'd run right over you, man. He was tough. He was Jerome Bettis before Jerome Bettis was born. So, Larry Zonka. Then, speaking of the Steelers, yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers finally get on the board here as they beat the Vikings in Super Bowl IX, 16-6. MVP Franco Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Losses for the Vikings?
Yes. Yes, and we'll get to all their records here in a little bit.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to
back-to-back losses at this point
losses
for the Vikings,
okay.
Right? And then Super Bowl X comes along, and Joe is joined. Thank you, Joe, for joining in tonight. By the way, tonight we're NFL heavy, and for those of you in Facebook world, been asking you to predict the Super Bowl 53, and pick the team you think's going to win. Tell me why. And also score if you want to throw that in there too, or if you just want to write the name of the team you think is going to win. By the way, it's Rams and Patriots, in case you don't know. Anyway, some people
refs and the refs.
Yeah, the refs and the refs. Oh, we talked about that a lot last week. Super Bowl X. The Pittsburgh Steelers get their second win in Super Bowl history over the Cowboys, 21-17.
MVP, one of my favorite players of all time, Lynn Swann, wide receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then the Steelers take a couple years off. Super Bowl 11, the Raiders beat the Vikings 32-14. MVP, Fred Biletnikoff, wide receiver of the Raiders. That guy was tough as nails. He'd go over the middle and catch a ball. Didn't care if he got hit. He was bad. I liked watching him play. Then we have...
They didn't protect him?
Not back in the 70s. No, there was no protection back then. Yeah. You're on the football field, oh, you could get hit. You might want to have
you're not making millions at this time.
You might want to have your head on the swivel.
Yeah.
So, yes. Then, in Super Bowl 12, the Cowboys over the Broncos, 27-10. 2 Cowboys named co-MVP. It's our first co-MVP as well.
Okay.
But both from the winning team. Harvey Martin and Randy White. So, 2 good players there.
How'd they split that trophy?
Yeah, I think they split it, or one keeps it for 6 months, the other one has it for the other 6. So, we'll see. I don't know. All right, back to the Pittsburgh Steelers winning ways now. Super Bowl 13, Steelers over the Cowboys, 35-31. Bradshaw with the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'd like to talk more about Bradshaw at this point, but we'll have to do that sometime when I'm not on Facebook. I'll tell you why later. Diving back. Then Super Bowl 14, Terry Bradshaw wins the MVP again as the Steelers beat the Rams 31-19. I specifically remember this game because my sister was born the day before this game. And for some reason, we went to the hospital at halftime of the Super Bowl so I could meet my sister. And I was like, wait a minute. The Steelers are playing in the Super Bowl. Can we wait until tomorrow? She's not going to look any different tomorrow than she does today. Don't get me wrong. I love Debbie. She's a great sister, but I missed part of that game because of her.
And what year is this?
This would have been 79.
79.
Yeah.
Okay. So a friend of mine, Terry, she was born during the 76?
76 Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And how did she get that name, Terry?
It's a Bradshaw.
There you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, when we move into the 80s, Pittsburgh takes some time off. The Raiders over the Eagles, 27-10 MVP, Jim Plunkett of the Raiders. Once again, at this point, we still do not have another losing team winning the MVP. Still just one on that. Then, the guy that I defended as the GOAT until just recently. If y'all missed it earlier, I said Tom Brady's the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time, quarterback-wise. He's accomplished more than anybody. And this guy, they should waive the 5-year waiting period to get in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, he's in.
They should waive it. He should walk in the day he retires. He should just walk in. They should have a just Tom Brady day at the Hall of Fame. Let him in by himself. It's not even time for induction ceremonies. I don't care if it's the middle of February or March. Everybody go up to Canton, up to the Hall of Fame. And we just induct him in. Only him. By himself. He's that good. Tom Brady's the GOAT. And I've been arguing it for years. Those of you from the Ohio Media School are going to be surprised to see this and hear me say that because I've been saying Joe Montana's the man.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, I will still say that stat-wise.
Yeah.
But because of his accomplishments of going to the Super Bowl and being that team player,
yeah,
he's elevated everybody else's level, and that's just unbelievable.
So in Super Bowl 16, Joe Montana's Niners beat an Ohio team, the Cincinnati Bengals, 26-21. As mentioned before, Joe Montana, the MVP. Then the next year, the Redskins beat the Dolphins, 27-17. John Riggins of the Redskins. I don't know if you remember him or not, Diamondback. He was a beast. He ran all over the Dolphins in this game. Amazing. Then, in Super Bowl 18, the Rams beat the Redskins 38-9. The MVP of this game, Marcus Allen, running back.
Marcus Allen now,
for the Rams.
There's a name I recognize.
Yeah, so we're coming into the Diamondback era now.
Yeah.
He's young. So we're coming into that era.
My first Super Bowl or first game was actually a Super Bowl, but that and Marcus Allen, Joe Montana are first two names really I've recognized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just out of what you've said so far.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and when you get to that game, that was my first Super Bowl. I will let you know.
Okay. So then the following year, the 49ers beat the Dolphins in Super Bowl 19, 38-16. And Joe Montana, once again, quarterback from the 49ers, the previous GOAT, gets the MVP in that game. And then, in a game that was awesome, the Chicago Bears, the year of the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Super Bowl Shuffle. I don't know if the game was good.
46-10. No. 46-10 Bears. Yeah. It was only good if you're not a Pats fan.
It wasn't. Yeah, not a Pats fan. No, this was my first NFL game that I ever watched.
Okay.
And it was because of the Super Bowl Shuffle that made me watch it.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so I'm in high school at this point, and I'm just like,
at this point, I'm in college at Huntington College in Huntington, Indiana, the town I was born in.
Okay.
And the Steelers were horrible at this point. They were not competitive at all. So everybody was like, well, who's your backup team? And I was like, well, geez, the Bears look good. Jumped on that bandwagon for a year, rolled that right through the Super Bowl Shuffle. 46-10. The game itself was kind of was like, wow, the Bears are this good, and they were. Richard Dent won the MVP that year, by the way, for the Bears. Then the following year, the Giants beat the Broncos 39-20. Phil Simms, quarterback of the Giants, got the MVP that year. The following game was interesting. The Redskins beat the Broncos 42-10. Doug Williams was the quarterback for the Redskins, and he won the MVP. But what was interesting about this game, and I'm sure that our friend Bob could tell you about this, he threw 4 touchdown passes in one quarter. In the second quarter of this game. He threw 4 touchdown passes.
On the bench.
Yeah, no, it was just like, it was like, wow, to score 4 touchdowns in one quarter, well, let one guy throw all of them.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Then the next year, another one of my favorite players wins the MVP, Jerry Rice from the 49ers, as the Niners beat the Bengals again, 20-16. Jerry Rice was so much fun to watch. The following year, the Niners win again in Super Bowl 24 as they take out the Broncos, 55-10. 55-10. One of the second blowout there, because we had that game for the Bears beating the Pats there a few years back. But Joe Montana gets that MVP. So once again, at this point, we only have one MVP from a losing team. We're still at 1.
Still 1. I
the
think
Giants then beat the Bills 20-19. MVP Otis Anderson from the running back from the Giants. Or if you're a Giants fan, the MVP was the field goal kicker of the Buffalo Bills who shanked it. As the clock ran out.
It was the Giants MVP.
He was the Giants MVP. He was their best player. I can't even think of his name. Poor guy. Anyway, no predictions yet, guys? Come on. Somebody on my Facebook world make a prediction. Just type in the name of the team. It's not hard. So, Super Bowl 26. Redskins take out the Bills because it's their turn to take out the Bills. 37-24. MVP Mark Rippon, quarterback of the Redskins. Mm-hmm. I'm sure a name Bob remembers. Then the Cowboys beat the Bills the following year because it's their turn. 52-17. MVP Troy Aikman, quarterback of the Cowboys.
Nice.
That year. Then the following year, the Cowboys beat the Bills again. 30-17. They took it easy this time. They scored 22 less points than the previous year. So that's 4 losses in a row for the Bills, in case you're keeping track.
Now, do you notice something about that? The Bills' run there.
Yeah.
They always went up against an NFC East team.
Yep. Yeah, they lost to the Redskins, Cowboys, and Giants. Yeah. The only one who didn't join in on that party was the Philadelphia Eagles. The aforementioned defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
They used to be, yeah.
Right. They won't, as of Sunday, there'll be a new one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they can't defend it anymore because they're not in it.
Right. It's over for them. Anyway, Cowboys win that game 30-17, and one of my favorite players, Emmitt Smith, the MVP. Just so much fun to watch. I know he played for Dallas, but I loved Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt could run. I mean, watching him and Barry Sanders.
Yep, that was the two to watch at that time. Oh my God, they were phenomenal.
The only way either one of those guys would have been better is if they were wearing black and gold. That is the only way they'd have been better.
So,
wow.
Then the following year, Super Bowl 29, the 49ers over the Chargers, 49-26. Steve Young, quarterback of the Niners, MVP of that game. And then the following year, Cowboys exact some revenge on my Pittsburgh Steelers, winning 27-17 MVP Larry Brown, cornerback of the Cowboys. Why was he the MVP? Because Neil O'Donnell thought he was open on every play. Threw 2 interceptions to him, right to him. He could have. It was like, here, I don't want this. You have it. O'Donnell goes to the Jets right after this game, so he's out of Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And Charles has joined as well. Thank you, Charles. Meanwhile, now we have 5 people on Facebook World watching. So one of you, at least one, give me a prediction for SB53. Tell me who you think's going to win. You can throw a score if you want to. You can tell me why. Iron Diamondback will be giving our picks later. Or you can give us a call. We're at 614-996-8389. And I think I've talked about that Cowboys beating the Steelers game enough. Let's move on. Packers then take care of the Pats the following year. 35-21 MVP. Desmond Howard, kick returner for the Packers.
And this is the Pats' second loss.
Right. Yes, it's their second loss. Then the Broncos take out the Packers the next year. Notice a trend here sometimes. You win one, lose one, back and forth. A lot of teams have done that. Broncos take out the Packers. 31-24. Terrell Davis, running back for the Broncos. Talk about another beast as a running back. Yeah. Terrell was fun to watch. I'm sure my brother did enjoy that game. But there's one coming up here that Steve brings up to me all the time. So then the following year, the Broncos beat the Falcons. Super Bowl 33. And
I was ecstatic on that game.
34-19. That was the Dirty Bird year, wasn't it?
That was the Dirty Bird.
The Falcons
did
the Dirty Bird throughout the game.
We had Michael Vick and Anderson.
Yeah.
Otis came up.
Not
no,
Otis.
Not Otis. Anderson. It was.
What was his first name?
Jamal.
Yes, Jamal Anderson. Right.
He's the one that came up with the Dirty Bird.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the NFC Championship game, and it come down to Morton Anderson kicking a field goal.
Yeah.
And that went through, and I grabbed my stepson at that time and just hugged him to death. And I mean, I did. I mean, you heard him go.
I'd like to go through these sometime and try to remember who I was rooting for in each game and see what my SB record is over the years.
Oh.
And compared to, overall. Because there's been 52 of them. Who did I root for and did they win?
Always seems
I did root for the Falcons in this game. I can tell you that. And believe it or not, I actually rooted for the Bengals over the 49ers in both of those games. So there's 3 losses right there.
For the most part, I've always rooted for the NFC.
And I've usually rooted for the AFC.
I mean, there's a few, and that'd be pretty good, but I'd have to start with 85. So.
Right. You wouldn't be able to go all the way back. So in that game, John Elway wins the quarterback for the Broncos, wins the MVP. And the Dirty Bird does not work.
And Dirty Bird goes down.
Then the following year, the Rams beat the Titans 23-16. Kurt Warner, quarterback of the St. Louis Rams, by the way. St. Louis. Yes, they win that game. But this game was interesting at the end. I don't know if you remember this or not. The Titans are driving down the field, getting ready to score the winning touchdown.
Yes.
Guy gets tackled 1 yard out.
Closest.
Yes. Unbelievable. He was
closest
1 yard
Super
out.
Bowl in history.
Right.
Because 1 yard.
Right.
Kept it from being a tied game to go into overtime.
Following year, the Ravens beat the Giants 34-7. Ray Lewis was the linebacker from the Ravens, and he was the MVP of this game. Man, was Ray a beast. Like I've said, the only way he would look better is in black and gold. That guy was phenomenal.
You mean the former Cleveland Browns?
Yes, the former Cleveland Browns win the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah, they leave. They go to Baltimore.
They win.
They win the Super Bowl, and Cleveland doesn't even have a team during this time period.
Yes.
There was 3 years where there was no Cleveland Browns. And
loved the year that it came back because Pittsburgh played them in an opening season in Cleveland.
Yeah.
The opening game.
I remember that game.
And you guys didn't let them find the end zone. And the joke went around, how do you keep Cleveland from moving again?
Don't
Painting that end zone all the way around the town.
Yep, and it's kept them there. They're still there. And but now they're a team we can't make fun of. Spoiler alert.
You can always make fun of them.
Yeah, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with now. Anyway, the following year, the Patriots get their first win. And notice who it's over. The St. Louis Rams.
The St. Louis Rams.
Who are now in L.A. It's a rematch. So SB 53 is a rematch of SB 35. So we just flip the numbers. How about that?
Wow.
That's how that worked out. I wonder if the NFL had anything to do with that one.
So
anyway, Pats win that game 20-17. The aforementioned GOAT, Tom Brady, wins the MVP. He's the man. So then, the following year, the Buccaneers beat the Raiders. This one's funny. 48-21. Dexter Jackson, cornerback from the Bucs, wins the MVP. Why is this one funny, you ask?
Because the first time in history that coaches were traded.
Right. So we get the coach from the current coach of the Raiders, by the way, Chucky, gets traded to the Buccaneers. And Buccaneers give up a draft pick.
They
and
got a draft pick for it.
Yeah.
And, I think it was a 3-team swap.
So
for
he
the,
goes
coaches.
from Oakland to Tampa, and he then goes to Tampa and beats his old team in the Super Bowl. That's revenge.
I wonder how.
They should have given the MVP to the coach.
Yes.
Or to the Tampa Bay director of personnel who got the coach for a draft pick. That's awesome. I mean, that's so funny. The revenge game. I know I was rooting for the Buccaneers in that game. I remember. Anyway, the Pats then the following year get their next win over the Panthers, 32-29. The MVP, you ask? Tom Brady. The GOAT, the quarterback.
So is that two
that's
MVPs
two.
for him?
Yep, that's 2 MVPs at this point. Then the following year, Super Bowl 39, Patriots beat the Eagles. The Eagles. They get a little revenge later on, spoiler alert. 24-21. Deion Branch, wide receiver for the Patriots, gets the MVP, so not Tom Brady for that one. And Deion was a very good wide receiver. So then the following year, in one of my favorite Super Bowls of all time, Steelers beat the Seahawks 21-10 in this game. MVP, Hines Ward, the guy who, come on, National Football League, should be in the Hall of Fame. He's not in yet. Come on, let's get it going here. Get him in the Hall. He deserves it. He put up good numbers, not just because he played for the Steelers. He was a great wide receiver. He was one of those guys too that would get hit over the middle and get up and smile at you like.
Wasn't this the miraculous catch that he caught for the game winner?
Yeah. And it was, no, you're thinking of Santonio Holmes. That's coming up later against the Cardinals. No, you're fine. But in this game, the Steelers, this was Ben Roethlisberger's quarterback, and he handed off to a running back who threw to Hines Ward for a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
So, in fact, Ben's stats were not great in this game, but they won nonetheless over Seattle, 21-10. Then the following year, the Colts beat the Bears, 29-17. Peyton Manning, quarterback of the Colts, gets the MVP in that game. Then in Super Bowl 42, the Giants, they know how to beat the Patriots. Beat the Patriots in this game, 17-14. MVP, Eli Manning, quarterback of the Giants.
This here is just justice for Eli Manning because he was asked in the beginning of the season if he considered himself elite, and he said yes.
Yeah.
And everybody gave him shit for it.
Right.
I'm just going to flat out say
they did. You're absolutely right.
They gave him crap. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. And then he turns around and beats a team that was undefeated and takes the MVP.
Yeah, this was the year. The Patriots were 18-0.
18-0.
Yeah.
They had a chance to be the first team to go 19-0.
And win the Super Bowl at the same time. The only undefeated team, of course, in the history is the Miami Dolphins.
At 16-0?
Yeah. So, counting the playoff games, the Patriots beat that record.
Right.
So, but...
they beat that record, but, the number one at the end of the season is what kills them of having it.
So, this was the game you were alluding to. Super Bowl 43, Steelers over Cardinals. 27-23. MVP
right,
Santonio Holmes, wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game had 2 awesome plays in it.
Yeah,
for the Steelers.
It was from both teams because wasn't that
Larry Fitzgerald had a great play.
Had
in this
a couple
game
great
too.
plays.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he is an awesome wide receiver. You talk about a guy who should be in the hall when he retires. Mr. Fitzgerald is phenomenal.
Right.
He's awesome. But the plays I was thinking about, James Harrison intercepts a pass right before halftime and returns it 95 yards for a touchdown for the Steelers.
I forgot about that play.
And then at the end of the game, the Cardinals are up 23 to 16, or 23 to whatever that would be to make them the 23 to 20. The Cardinals were ahead, and this was the game on 3rd and goal or 4th and goal where Ben threw this teardrop perfect pass to Santonio Holmes, and he showed everybody how you get 2 feet down at the edge of the end zone.
Yeah, I mean that's
phenomenal.
That was
Antonio Brown does it better than anybody in the league right now. Your boy Atlanta does it pretty well too.
Yeah, Mr. Julio.
Yes, Julio Jones does that well. And you look around the league, a lot of guys now are doing that. Get my 2 feet down, boom, right at the edge of the end zone or on the sideline, and it's phenomenal to watch him do that.
And they will ask, they got to be asking these quarterbacks, put it in range but out of bounds.
Yep.
And I will come down with it. They've got to be telling them like that. I mean, they have to be practicing this stuff.
And then the next game, the Saints beat the Colts in Super Bowl 44, 31-17. MVP, Drew Brees of the Saints. And in the game my brother brings up all the time, and that's okay, Steve. We'll get you someday. Get the Packers. Packers beat the Steelers 31-25. MVP, another guy who should walk in the hall. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. He's phenomenal.
Yeah,
this makes Ben Roethlisberger at this point, by the way, 2-1 in Super Bowl history.
I don't know if I'd put him in the same category of you saying Tom Brady should walk in immediately as he retires.
Tom Brady's probably the only player who shouldn't have to wait the 5 years.
Yeah, and I have to kind of agree with that statement, but of course they're going to make him the 5. He's going to be a 1-year ballot.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's going to get on the first year.
Yeah, if you retire the same year, here's a little nugget for everybody. If you're a quarterback in the NFL and you retire the same year as Brady, actually wait a year because you're not going in the same year as him.
No,
they're going to put one quarterback in that year, and it's going to be Mr. Brady by himself as the only quarterback going in, and they'll let his speech be last, and I'll watch his speech because he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He's phenomenal.
Then the next game, yes, Steve, we're done talking about your Packers beating my Steelers. Giants over the Pats. Once again, the Giants know how to beat them. 21-17. Eli Manning once again, second MVP.
No, this was the one.
Oh, that
this
year
they did. I didn't realize that was 2 years.
The following year, the Ravens beat the Niners 34-31. Joe Flacco, quarterback for the Ravens, wins the MVP in that game. Then the Seahawks beat the Broncos 43-8 in a game that wasn't that close. Malcolm Smith, linebacker from the Seahawks, wins the MVP. Then in a game that still just befuddles me, I don't get it. The following year, Super Bowl 49, Pats over the Seahawks 28-24. Tom Brady with his third MVP, very well earned, but their best player that day for the Patriots was the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, who decided, instead of giving the ball to the beast in the backfield, to go ahead and throw the ball and throw an interception in the end zone, thus costing Seattle the game. Anyway, yeah.
How do you really feel about that?
The following year, the Broncos beat the Panthers 24-10. Von Miller, linebacker for the Broncos. Wow, what a great player. But Super Bowl 51, and we won't dwell on this one too long there for you, Diamondback. Patriots over the Falcons, 34-28.
This was just a phenomenal.
I was here. Watch this game here.
I mean, it was a phenomenal game.
It was.
That Atlanta scored 28 points made me happy. But as I said, you heard one of my guests here at the party. Sit there and go, why aren't you ecstatic?
Yeah. Tom Brady gets the MVP in this game, and
he deserves it. He deserved it.
The best player, though, for the Patriots in this game was the Falcons deciding to not run the ball, to run the time off the clock, and going to the passing game too soon. But nonetheless, Tom Brady gets his fourth Super Bowl MVP. Now that is impressive.
Yes.
This is why he's the GOAT. He's the best. The following year, though, he does lose to the current defending Super Bowl champs, who won't be defending it, so that title ends this week. But the Eagles beat the Pats last year, 41-33. Nick Foles, I can only play once the playoffs begin. Foles, quarterback for the Eagles, wins the MVP. So, to answer our question, Diamondback, the only player in the history of the Super Bowl at this point who has won the MVP on the losing team is Chuck Haley, linebacker from the Cowboys, and they lost to the Colts in that game 16-13 back in Super Bowl V. So there's only been one player from a losing team to win the MVP.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So-
I mean, I thought that was kind of weird because I'm like going, I don't think I've ever seen it in my lifetime. You know?
So before we go to this next break, let's first look at Super Bowl records by team, just for
Okay.
fun. And just because, well, as a Steeler fan, it's fun to look at. So
are we going to start with the lowest and work our way
no,
up?
we're going to start with the highest and work our way down.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have played in 8 Super Bowls and are 6-2. The 49ers have played in 6 Super Bowls and are 5-1. The Cowboys have played in 8 and are 5-3. The Patriots have played in 10 and are 5-5. That's a big game for the Patriots coming up on Sunday.
Yeah,
Break
this
that
is-
one
this
way or the
is,
other.
Breaks their tie.
The Giants have played in the Packers, have played in 5 and are 4-1. The Giants have also played in 5 and 4-1. The Raiders have played in 5 and are 3-2. Don't have a breakdown of what city they came from for those 5. So, nonetheless, moving on, because the Raiders are kind of the vagabond team of the NFL. The Redskins have played in 5 and they're 3-2 as well. The Broncos have played in 8, but they are 3-5 in Super Bowl history. The Ravens have played in 2 and they're 2-0. The Colts have played in 4 and they're 2-2. The Miami Dolphins have played in 5 and they're 2-3. The New Orleans Saints have made 1 Super Bowl appearance and they're 1-0. The Jets have made 1 Super Bowl appearance and are 1-0. The Buccaneers, same thing. 1 Super Bowl appearance, 1-0. The Bears have played in 2 Super Bowls and they are 1-1 in Super Bowl history. The Chiefs have the same record. 2 games, 1-1. The Eagles have played in 3 and are 1-2 in Super Bowl history. The Rams have played in 3 and they're 1-2. So the Rams will either even their record at 2-2 on Sunday, or they'll fall to 1-3. The Seahawks have played in 3 and they're 1-2. The Bills and Vikings have both played in 4 and are 0-4 in Super Bowl history. The Falcons and Panthers have played in 2 and are 0-2 in Super Bowl history. Then the Bengals have that same record, 2 games, 0-2. The Cardinals have played in 1 and they're 0-1. The Titans have that same record, and so do the Chargers. Then we have 4 teams who have never played in the Super Bowl to this point and won't be playing this year. So they are 0 games, 0 wins, 0 losses. Those teams are the Browns, Lions, Texans, Jaguars. So there's your Super Bowl records by team. And kind of break down to that. Of course, be able to update this after Sunday. The Patriots are either going to be 6-5 or 5-6, with 11 games played at that point in the Super Bowl. And the Rams will get up to 4 games, and they're either going to be 1-3 or 2-2. That's the only changes, obviously.
And you asked about the Raiders. You said they played in 5?
Yeah, they've played in 5 Super Bowls. The Raiders are 3-2.
All 5 years were in Oakland.
Okay. So they didn't make any appearances as the LA Raiders. So, okay. And this will be the first appearance for the Rams as the LA Rams.
Right.
All the rest of theirs were the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, I'm going through it here, and I don't.
So let's go ahead and go to break here. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about Commissioner Goodell's State of the League address that he did the other day. And then we're going to start getting into SB 53, breaking down the matchup between the Patriots and the Rams, talking about which team has advantage here or which one has an advantage there. Meanwhile, give us a call. We're 996-8389. That is the hashtag Saved the Crew phone line. Of course, this is the Ferocious Bunny Productions presents the iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show.
Has your better half ever told you look like a bad chia pet? Does she make you sleep on the couch? Does she confuse you with the dog? Then maybe it's time for a haircut. Hi, I'm the Diamondback, and when this happens to me, I go see Todd the barber at Todd's Barber Shop. Todd always has sports on TV and great sports topics being discussed between Todd and the other patrons. Todd's been cutting hair for over 18 years and very personable. He will give you his opinion about sports and other topics of discussion, always guaranteed to make you laugh. Todd is located at 3867 Latimer Street, Hilliard, Ohio, in the heart of downtown Hilliard. His hours of operation are Tuesday 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., Wednesday 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., Thursday 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., Friday 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday 7 a.m. to 1. Closed on Sunday and Monday, so when you need a haircut, follow the Diamondback's advice and go see Todd at Todd's Barber Shop.
Welcome back, everybody, to a Ferocious Bunny Productions presents the iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show, where you will get the best breakdown of SB 53. Don't go anywhere else for any updates. We got the best breakdown of SB 53 for you between the Pats and Rams.
We do?
We do.
Okay.
I got plenty of material here.
Okay.
It's all good. I got you covered, Diamondback. Don't worry. So once again, our phone number, 614-996-8389. That is the hashtag Save the Crew phone line. And for those of you watching on YouTube on LMS.Diamondback, you'll see our logos behind us. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons because those are our NFL teams. Have not met yet in the Super Bowl. When they do, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun match. It'll end in a tie for sure. Be the first Super Bowl to end in a tie.
We watched a game several years ago, and it went into overtime. And the moment it went into overtime, a tornado decided to come through this side of town, and they just wanted to talk about the tornado. And we're like going, "We want to watch the game."
Yeah, where's the game? Where's the game? So, and meanwhile, of course, I'm on my Facebook page right now, and got some people joining in there with some predictions from you guys. Just type Rams or Pats or tell me why, whatever you want to do as far as all that's concerned. But let's go ahead and update. We say we're going to update this as the evening unfolds. Right now, the Ohio State basketball women are beating Illinois 55-51. That game is here in Columbus. It's 54-51, is what I said. And meanwhile, the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I swore he said double nickels, but okay.
Well, I was killed that foul. They're about to shoot a foul shot. And
no, it's 56.
56, not a foul shot. Okay, 56-51 now. Lady Bucks over the Lady Illini. Go Lady Bucks. Meanwhile, up in Winnipeg, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Winnipeg Jets are skating to a tie at this point, 1-1. But there could not be a tie in hockey. Why? Because of the shootout and all that. That's what part of makes hockey so awesome. Anyway, no ties in hockey. There can't be ties in the NFL. Those of you who are Browns fans, remember Week 1 when the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns fought to a tie.
Well, there's another team, too, this year.
There was a couple ties this year. I'd rather lost.
Yeah.
I'd rather lost than tie them.
Really?
Yeah, I'd rather lose than tie.
Wow. You rather had given up the complete loss to a team that couldn't even win a game last year.
Right, in the first game of the year.
You wanted to be the first team to lose to them.
Yeah. I'd rather lost to them than tie them. I don't like ties.
Okay.
I don't like wearing ties. I don't like ties in sports either.
Yeah, I love ties, man.
So,
I love ties.
You love ties. You're a big soccer fan then.
No. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so in that case. No, I'm talking about the wearable tie.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Ties. I will wear a tie if they're paying me big money. I don't like wearing a tie if I'm not making big money. I'd rather dress like this all the time.
I don't know, man.
Go Jackets. Anyway, still 1-1 there. 56-51 still in Lady Bucks game. Okay. Commissioner Goodell gave his State of the League address because there's no lockout.
Power play scorer.
Because there's no lockout in the NFL. Oh, a power play.
Josh Anderson, assisted by Seth Jones.
There we go. Jackets up 2-1.
I'm butchering that.
Armani Panarin.
We're going to Panera?
Panarin. So, Commissioner Goodell gave his State of the League address because there's no lockout at this point in football. Might have one in a couple of years. Spoiler alert. Highlights of his speech. He says we will look again at instant replay. Well, duh. Based on that missed call. Anyway, Saints fans are still up in arms about that. At this point, it does not cover judgment calls or no calls. So they're going to look at whether they should add those to being replayable plays. Coaches and clubs have been resistant to this in the past. That play in the Saints-Rams game may change people's opinion. We'll see what they come up with in their rules. Despite this history, Goodell said it will be put to the competition committee again, so they'll at least discuss it, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
we will, of course, cover any rules changes later on. I
mean, a lot of people are like going, you brought up the whole fact that Super Bowl 35 and Super Bowl 53 is kind of a rematch.
It is. Isn't that amazing?
There was... I do a lot of YouTube watching videos and stuff like that, and I come across this, and I bring this just because of the fact that people say it's staged. The guy actually had evidence of a staged 2016. The Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Browns are playing. There's a fumble. Cleveland Brown guy is just literally holding the ball in the air. And they motion that it's Washington's ball. And they gave it to Washington.
Yeah.
Even though he's outside the whole scrum.
Yeah.
And he's holding the ball.
Right. It doesn't matter. It's still Redskins ball. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I was wrong. It was Super Bowl 36 where the Patriots beat the Rams 20-17. So we don't have a reversal in numbers. But that would have been exciting if it would have been.
Oh, okay.
Nonetheless, it's still a rematch of Super Bowl 36.
But what I was getting at is because of the questionable plays, and that's why I brought that up. I just wanted to bring that kind of up because that was kind of interesting. I was like, that's something that didn't really make a lot of the news media. I wonder why.
Yeah, right.
I'm not saying it's staged. I'm not saying it's freaking.
I can remember a play where
wrestling or anything of that nature.
I don't remember who the Browns were playing, and maybe the Browns fans can help me out with this. But it was right after instant replay got put into the league. It was the season that it first started. And so you would, have to challenge a play before the next play was ran.
Correct.
That's the rule.
And that's still the rule.
Right, that's still the rule. Well, the other team had the ball, and they fumbled the ball. And the Browns recovered it. And they gave the ball to the other team. And so that other team ran a play. And then, or no, how did this work? I don't remember exactly. But, man, the Browns fans went nuts. I mean, it was crazy.
Well,
it was insane. And they did get robbed in this particular instance. I'm trying to think of.
In this play here that they were showed that was
they got robbed.
Robbed. I'm sorry. If you're looking down at the thing, and this is that female ref, by the way, that's doing this. She actually, boom, gives it to Redskins. And it's like when she throws her hand that direction, you see
the guy with the Browns. It's the ball.
Because they're pointing right to him. It's like, it's weird.
Some other highlights from Goodell's speech the other day. More opportunities for minorities in coaching. So he talked about that. And then he's talked about where will the Raiders play in 2019. The Las Vegas Stadium will not be ready until 2020. Oakland has filed suit against the team, so they can't play there. They want to stay in the Bay Area. I don't know how close San Diego is to the Bay Area, but hasn't Iconic Drew been yelling for San Diego to take this team for a season or two?
Yep.
They have a stadium already. And then you have to make the now LA Chargers come back and play in their previous stadium in front of their previous fans. That would be so funny.
It would be awesome.
That would be great.
It would be awesome to have them do that. The only other thing I can think of is how we were talking, how the New York Giants and the Jets play is let them play in San Francisco. You got an NFC and an AFC
San
team.
Francisco is another viable option, and that's definitely the Bay Area. Yeah. So,
Kirby, that is the Bay.
Kirby, who's winning SB 53? None of my other people will tell me. So who do you think is going to win it? get ready for the best breakdown that you're going to see for SB53.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes.
Uh-oh.
Some key matchups coming up on Sunday. Should be a big game. By the way, everybody, if you're at an SB party, 53 party on Sunday, don't talk during the commercials. God, keep your mouth shut during the commercials. I'll tell you what, DiamOnDbAcK, the biggest challenge I ever had in my life. We went through Super Bowl history a few moments ago.
Yep.
And I think it was the Super Bowl that the Steelers won against Seattle, I want to say, or it was Arizona. It was one of the two. Halftime performance of that game, of one of those two games, was Aerosmith, my favorite band of all time. Okay?
Yeah.
And then you've got the commercials. So I'm going in this game and I'm like, okay, I've got 4 hours of not being able to go to the bathroom because I want to watch the game. It's my favorite team playing, and they're going to win because they're the Steelers. Be quiet, Steve. Anyway, they're going to win. They're the Steelers. And then, secondly, you've got Aerosmith at halftime, and then you've got commercials. Iconic Drew had to go 4 hours without going to the bathroom. That was one of the biggest challenges of my life.
Wow.
So, because of that lineup right there.
And that's why a lot of people are putting TVs in their bathroom.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So before we get to the breakdown, OSU women up now 64-55 are the Illini on their way to a victory. The Columbus Blue Jackets have skated to a 2-1 lead over the Winnipeg Jets at this point, and that game's in Winnipeg. So this will be a big win for the Jackets to get a win on the road like that, especially against a division-leading team in their division as well. So that's a big matchup.
Winnipeg.
Okay, Facebook World Curb. You just jumped on anyone. Who's winning the game on Sunday? SB53. So, one of the first matchups we need to look at is the Patriots offense versus the Rams defense. Okay? Brady, if given time, the GOAT, will find Edelman or Gronk. He proved that in the game against the Chiefs. Yeah. If you didn't already know that before you watched the game against the Chiefs, you know it now. How many times on those two drives, the drive in the fourth quarter and then the drive in overtime to win the game, did Edelman make a fantastic catch over the middle? And then Gronk catches the ball. And why? Because the Chiefs weren't getting any pressure on Tom. He was wide open. He was clean. But the key for the Patriots on offense, keep Tom Brady clean. Don't let him get hit.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is he's not lost many games. When it comes to playoff games,
right?
But it's always when they apply pressure.
If you go back to the Super Bowls that they've lost, they were all close games.
All close
games.
They've
never been blown out.
And they were pressured.
The only time the Patriots have been blown out in the Super Bowl was against the Bears in '85.
Right.
And obviously Tom Brady was not playing in that game. That was well before his time.
That would be amazing if he was.
Right, exactly.
Then I would have to definitely agree
and
say first year ballot.
I don't know if you saw the mime of him. It says above him, the year 2033, and Tom's got this long white beard, and he's going into the Super Bowl. So, anyway.
Wow.
The other key for the Patriots offense is Sony Michel. He's the key to the running game. He's the definite key to their running game. And now, the Rams, on the other hand, on defense, of course, need to put pressure on Tom Brady and contain the running game at the same time. Aaron Donald, number 99 from the Rams, along with Sue, started his career with the Lions, went to the Dolphins, and now plays for the Rams. Those are the two keys on the Rams' defense of putting pressure on Tom Brady and getting to him. The one thing about the Patriots is they don't give up a lot of pressure from or a lot of sacks from the outside, from guys rushing from the outside. Well, that's good news for the Rams because these two guys are in the inside, the interior of the defensive line, Donald and Sue. And if they can get pressure on Tom, that's big for the Rams. So that's what they need to do. Now, the Rams' offense versus the Patriots' defense. The Rams are loaded. They got lots of weapons, but so do the Chiefs. Jared Goff at quarterback, C.J. Anderson at running back. He stepped up, and he's played great the last few weeks. Todd Gurley, he'll be healthy and ready for this game. He had a little nagging injury in that last game. Wide receivers, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Krupp. Guys that all make key catches at key times for the Rams offense. And then you have tight end Tyler Higbee. Now, for the Patriots defense, what weapon will Coach Belichick take away? He always takes at least one weapon away. If you were Belichick, which weapon would you take away from the Rams, from this loaded offense?
You can't double team everybody.
No, you can't, but you have to take away one person at least, and that's what the Patriots. The thing about the Patriots, no one is better than Belichick at taking at least one weapon away from the other team. It's amazing what he can do in that respect.
I think I would try to take Gurley away.
Yeah, I agree. I think you start with Todd Gurley.
Boom.
Even though C.J. Anderson has stepped up and played really well the last few weeks, Todd Gurley is still Todd Gurley.
I mean, right now he's like the biggest weapon they like to throw to.
Yeah.
It just
no one.
I do try to
make a prediction, guys. Come on.
I do think that would be probably where Belichick will start.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't work, as you said, he will adjust and he'll go to the person that is leading it all.
Right. Right.
And I think when they assign their spy is going to have to sit there and not only watch the quarterback, but they're going to have to watch Gurley as well.
Exactly. He's
going to have to pull double duty.
The other key matchup of this game is the coaching matchup. Sean McVay, first time in the Super Bowl now in SB, and so will the Rams come into this starry-eyed? Is the stage too big? Because we know the Patriots are used to being there.
And they are so used to being
third in a row
that it's like
at this point.
Yeah, they're so used to being there because they're just going to look at it as another game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is a huge thing because they're going to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, oh look, cameras, oh we see that every day. Right.
We're the Patriots. We're here. This is what we do. We play in the Super Bowl. We play in the Super Bowl. It's what we do. You know, we are the New England Patriots. What we do is we play in Super Bowls, and we win most of them.
If you put it as, in a cold state, cold area, you play up in New York or whatever, and it's all cold. Yeah, I would give Patriots hand down. But this is in a dome.
Yeah.
In a warm city.
Right.
And it's not going to really matter. But it's not an advantage one way or the other with this.
No, I don't think the elements and where it's played is an advantage for either team.
Right.
I mean, the Rams are.
If it would have been like we had several years ago, played in
New
York.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And I kind of like that. I kind of like that whole throw. Let's throw them a little curve. Let's see what does it.
Yeah. I would think if this game was played in Miami, that would be an advantage for the Rams.
You think so?
Because of the warm weather, what they like to do on offense. I don't know if it's enough an advantage, but I think it's an advantage if they played in Miami instead of Atlanta. Playing in a dome, this is not an advantage for either team.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Rams love that fast track, and they'll abuse that as much as Belichick lets them. Because the fact is that he's going to stop one thing on offense. And you're right, I would start with Todd Gurley. I would start with Gurley. And I'm not saying Belichick will. He's the master. He will decide. He already knows at this point who he's going to stop. But that's the other thing about this matchup, Diamondback. You've got a coach in Belichick who's now coaching in his 9th Super Bowl against a guy who's 33, 34 years old, who's never coached in one. Most Rams players have never played in one. And on top of all of that, you have to take into account the fact that these two teams, when you look at them overall, experience-wise, obviously the Patriots have the most experience. And they are definitely more experienced in that area. If Belichick wins this game, he'll be the oldest coach to win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
If McVay wins it,
he'll be
the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl.
That's kind of interesting.
You have records either way in this game. Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of interesting because this is either going to be the passing of a torch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's going to be a passing of a torch.
And revenge for the Rams.
Or it's going to be the dynasty continues.
Right.
It's just...
And Tom Brady, the GOAT, was asked last week if the Patriots win this game, are you going to retire? And he said one word, no. So apparently Tom wants more. And good for him. He's already the GOAT. You know, I might as well go try to win some more.
He's got 5, right?
Right, he's got 5. Yeah, look at
He's
think
got
about
to
this.
find another finger like Michael Jordan there.
Think about this. If Tom Brady wins this Super Bowl, if the Patriots win it, not only do they tie the Pittsburgh Steelers as a franchise with the most Super Bowls won, they also, Tom Brady by himself, ties for the most Super Bowls won in the history of the Super Bowl. That is amazing. This is why he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Even if they lose on Sunday, he is still the GOAT.
Well,
amazing. 9 Super Bowl appearances?
9 Super Bowl appearances.
For him and Belichick.
17 NFC or AFC championships, correct?
Yeah.
I do believe is the number.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
I do. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Freaking believable.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's looking at this matchup. And that's the breakdown of the matchup right there, everybody. Like I said, the best breakdown you'll get for SB53.
The spread is 2.5 for
the Patriots.
Rams.
Yeah.
No,
the Rams are favored?
Are favored.
Whoa!
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm reading backwards.
Yeah.
It is the
Pats
Patriots
are favored.
Favored
By 2.5, which means
maybe this is why I was reading it backwards. Is I'm looking at the ESPN Power Index.
Oh yeah.
And they've got the Rams at 52.4% chance of winning this game.
Right, and the Patriots at 47 point whatever's left.
6.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. So the ESPN Power Index is picking the Rams.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of picks,
yeah.
Guess what's coming next?
We're gonna pick the over.
We're gonna pick our game, and as you pointed out earlier, Diamondback, the Iconic Drew has 29 points to gamble with going into this game, and Diamondback has 45 points to gamble with. So we're gonna make our picks here next. Make our picks known to each other. Hopefully, you've made your pick before this point.
Oh yeah, I've made it. I had it ready for you last week.
The GOAT, man, he's the GOAT.
Yes, I am the GOAT. Thanks.
So no, Tom Brady's the GOAT.
I'll have to disagree and say Michael Jordan.
The one thing I wanted to check this week, and I didn't get a chance to check it, was Tom Brady's record as a meat chicken quarterback against the Ohio State University. How he did against Ohio State in the battle for the gold pants. The battle of the game. And Diamondback's going to look that up. We'll have that when we get back from this break. Let me give a quick update here while he's doing that too. The Ohio State women still ahead of the Illini 71-66 now. And the Jackets are ahead 2-1 on the Winnipeg Jets. So there's your update for those 2 sports going on currently that we follow from the Ohio teams. Once again, this is the Ferocious Money Productions presents the Iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show. Phone number 614-996-8389.
That's 614-996-8389.
And that is the hashtag saved the crew phone line at this point. Any company out there that wants to sponsor that, give us a call. Anyway, we'll take it. So when we get back from this break, Iconic Drew and Diamondback will pick SB53. Since no one on Facebook will.
Never reminded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be. Making emotion painful answers. Tell me, is this what you made me?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Ferocious Buddy Productions presents the iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show. Tonight, of course, we are heavy on SB 53. It is time to make our picks and get that out of the way. Going into this, by the way, our phone number 614-996-8389. Haven't had any phone calls tonight. Anybody wants to call in and give a pick or give a pick on Facebook World or join in and decide between Rams and Pats. It's not hard to write down a name of a team and say why you want them to win.
Oh,
or
you wanted me to write down the name of the team on my paper.
You did. From what I didn't see it yet, actually, Diamondback. Maybe you didn't. So let's go ahead and reveal that. Going into it, Diamondback has 45 points and Iconic Drew has 29. So Diamondback has gone the way I thought he would. Diamondback, you are who we thought you were. He is taking the Patriots for 15, which is the smart pick, by the way. Everybody.
I am taking them. If you notice, I put 15 on them because you put 29 on there. You could have only gotten to 58. So with 15, that would put me at 60, and that was just blocking you from doing that. And that was the only way I could block you.
Yeah.
And so.
But nonetheless, at this point, basically, it comes down to that. If the Rams win, Iconic wins. If the Patriots win, Diamondback wins. And yeah, everybody, I have been talking all night about the GOAT and Bill Belichick and how awesome the Pats are, and they are.
They are.
I'll hand it to them.
You can hate them all you want.
I honestly picked the Rams because I knew you'd pick Pats. I just had a feeling. I'm behind, so I have to go with the underdog.
Yeah, you have to go with the underdog. I was just
right.
It was just that's where I'm at with it. I'm like going, easiest way to block you was that.
Right.
Just
right.
put the
in case
points.
I took the Patriots.
But see, that's the thing. Yeah, just in case you took the Patriots, because
which I seriously considered. Oh, this was a tough week. I went back and forth. I have nothing but mad respect for the New England Patriots. I don't like them, as everybody knows. I'm a Steeler fan. I can't like them. But you have to respect what this franchise has done. This is the era of free agency. And they've managed with basically 2 people to go to 9 Super Bowls. Yep. There's moving pieces all around those 2.
I mean, yeah.
But those 2
Gronk has not been a part of the team every time they've went.
Right.
The only 2 that's
There's
really
been different wide receivers every year.
Yeah.
There's been different running backs. There's been different linemen. One of the safeties, his contract is coming up at the end of the year. Can't think of the guy's name right now. Plays for the Patriots. His contract's coming up. And Mike Golick was joking this morning on Golick and Wingo that, they're not going to renew that guy. He better enjoy this last ride to the Super Bowl with the Patriots because the Pats don't keep you.
No, they don't.
They move pieces around. As long as they have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they will be a competitive team in this league.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do. They've had some good backup quarterbacks for Brady. I mean, the guy that went to the Chiefs there several years ago.
Yeah, you're thinking of the guy that went to the 49ers, actually, Garoppolo.
No. Several before that.
Oh, gotcha.
There was a guy that replaced him.
That guy did go to the Chiefs. You're right.
To the Chiefs, and I'm trying to think of his name. But anyways, he they've had some great quarterbacks that backed him up when Brady has been out, and Garoppolo is one of them. Mm-hmm. This guy that I'm thinking with the Chiefs, name just escapes me.
And it's a final, everybody. Ding, ding, ding. The Ohio State Buckeye women's basketball team has won against the Fighting Illini's women's team, 78-71. 78-70, excuse me. And they've won, meanwhile, still 2-1 in the Jackets game, I believe, even though he's taken it off the screen.
Yeah, I took it off the screen completely.
So, yeah, that was not what he meant to do.
No,
sure.
It's not.
So, we did tease right before we went to break, and I'm sure he's still trying to find it, on the record of Tom Brady versus the Ohio State University. Because I'll be honest, I barely remember him as a meat chicken quarterback.
Yeah.
And this guy was drafted in the 6th round.
6th round?
6th round, and look what he's done in the NFL. Well, that's amazing.
Some of those quarterbacks that you mentioned, and some of them, Tom Brady's one of them that comes to my mind. Kurt Warner, you mentioned him in the prior, so he wasn't even drafted.
Right. This guy was begging groceries. And he played in the CFL. He played in arena football.
Arena, that's it.
Which,
that's
by the way, we're going to cover arena football this summer.
We're
I
gonna
love
play.
arena football.
Does Ohio team do we have an
No, we've had a team in the past. We don't believe we do right now.
and we have a guest.
Right. One of my favorite teams is the Iowa Barnstormers. They still exist.
Iowa Barnstormers.
And they actually
I like
play.
that name.
They actually play in a barn.
Really?
The stadium is a barn.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Anyway, so we're going to cover a lot of things, and I don't know if Diamondback's still looking for that
Yes, I'm still looking
information
for it.
or not. So we're going to talk about other stuff until he finds it. I'll go ahead and plug this. Everybody, Saturday night, turn your TVs on to CBS from 9 p.m. until 11 p.m. and watch the NFL Honors. A great show to watch every year. This recognizes the NFL's best players, performances, and plays from the 2018 season. Also, during the show, the inductees for the Hall of Fame will be introduced as well. So we'll know who's going to the Hall of Fame come Saturday night.
Okay.
So, and hopefully Hines Ward will be one of them. Been campaigning for him for years.
Now,
Deserves to be in the Hall.
Now, before I go any further to look up this, do you want to know, because he played in 96, 97, 98, 99.
Was he the starting quarterback for those years? And
98
we got,
and 99.
Yeah, we got people that can pick on Diamondback's page here, Rams, from Dakota.
Yeah, that's Reflex.
Reflex, sorry.
And
Reflex picks some Rams.
Killer, I had to text him. He's actually working. He's all the way out on the West Coast. He's 3 hours behind us, so he's still working at this moment.
Yeah.
Killer, I actually texted him and got his pick. He wants the Rams to win, but it's difficult to pick against Brady, is the way he says it. So got an undecisive pick from him.
Well, that's kind of where I was earlier in the week. People were asking me. I was like, man, it's tough to pick against Tom Brady.
It really
Bill
is.
Belichick, they're so good. End of the first, by the way. Jackets still up 2-1 over the Winnipeg Jets. And do you have that stat?
You're wanting to know.
Yeah, what was Tom Brady's record against Ohio State?
Okay.
The Ohio State, excuse me.
Let's see.
What are you doing?
12.
Say hi to Facebook World. Say hi to Facebook World. Look,
He's
over there. Say hi.
All right, get down.
nice. I was trying to get him to come over here earlier. That was Milo, folks.
That was Milo.
That was Milo. Milo come down to say hi. He is now a YouTube sensation.
There you go, and Facebook World sensation as well.
So
Cheer for Milo,
in
everybody.
98, did Ohio State lose that? I mean, this was
Well, I can't remember who won and lost those years. It was Gunnar Cooper probably, but I mean, basically, you kind of need to know the history too. You got to look at Ohio State versus Meat Chicken as well, as far as who won. You know, the records as far as that goes. And then, what years was Tom Brady the starting quarterback?
98 and 99.
So only 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
He played in 6 games, the 2 prior, for the year prior to 98, 97, and then he played in 2 in 96. So.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think he was the starter of any of those games.
Gotcha. So we're only looking at 2 seasons and whether or not Meat Chicken beat Ohio State when he was the quarterback, when Tom Brady was the quarterback at that school up north. So.
But anyways, kind of.
Ohio State versus that team. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably type it in as Meat Chicken, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it doesn't come up that way. You have to actually type the word.
Wow.
To make it come up. So.
So we're looking at 1998. Ohio State won 31-16.
0-1, Mr. Brady.
And 1999, Michigan won at 24-17.
Okay, 1-1. So Tom Brady
is part of the teams in 96, 97, and Michigan won both of those years, 20-14 and 13-9.
But we're not counting those. If he was not the starting quarterback, I'm not going to count it. He's 1-1, so basically it's tie.
Okay.
but he did beat Ohio State once as the meat chicken quarterback and lost once. Okay, so that's interesting to know that, and that's something that we can hold over him as Buckeye fans. Be like, yeah, you only beat us once, not 2 times, only 1-1. So you're the GOAT, but you couldn't sweep Ohio State. And
I'm going to ask you, when was the last time that those two teams tied?
Oh, that had to be that year that Earl Bruce was the head coach, and RAD came out after the game and said this was the biggest win in the Ohio State football history. It's a freaking tie.
Was he coach in '92? Because that's when it was. It was 13-13 tie.
I think he was.
Yeah. So I just.
This is where we need big cast. Anyway,
I've just found that kind of interesting there that there's been a few ties there. It's
the
record between Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan leads at 58-50 and 6.
Okay.
So you guys have closed the gap considerably.
Yes. Thank you, Urban Meyer. Thank you, Urban Meyer.
Not just Urban.
Yeah.
You got to thank your Jim Tressel as
well.
Yeah,
Mr. Tressel, Coach Tressel, my guy. I haven't thrown my guy in all night. My guy, Coach Tressel.
Because didn't he come in 2001?
I believe that would be correct.
Tressel did, because so in that time frame, you've only lost to him twice, and that was 2003 and 2011. So yeah, your son has never. Really...
Yeah, and this is when Spencer says he has no memory of Meat Chicken beating Ohio State. This is why.
And he's how old?
He is going to be 14.
14.
This month.
So
in February.
So in 2011, he was only like 3 years old.
Right. And he probably does not remember that game.
No, more than likely he doesn't.
So let's go ahead and sign off, Diamondback. Next week we will, of course, recap the SB53, go over our points. I'm also going to do a preview of the new football league coming into effect.
I'm letting Reflex see his window.
You will notice, Reflex loves this window. You will notice I didn't do a rant tonight.
It's been a while since I've done a rant, but I really haven't found anything I really want to rant about.
The reason I didn't do a rant tonight was because I was going to do a rant about people complaining about football season being so long, when actually it's shorter than the other major sports.
Yeah.
But now, this new league is throwing a wrinkle into that rant.
He says, "Yay, window." Nice.
A wrinkle into the rant. Yes, that should be the quote of the day. We'll also, of course, update all the Ohio teams and take things from there. Meanwhile, Jackets up 2-1 in the second.
16-21 left in the second. So, I'm starting to think you shouldn't have picked up Milo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Milo's fine. Milo's supposed to be hypo.
But
that word.
Hyperallergenic.
Thank you. Whereas.
I can say hyperallergenic, but I cannot say hockey team members' names.
Right. Well, anyway. So, I won't say anything because my pronunciation is not always the best either. So, anyway, we will update SB53 next week. We'll talk about the new league coming into effect. We will talk about the NFL honors that are happening on Saturday night on CBS that I just mentioned from 9 to 11 p.m.
9 to 11.
And who's going in the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that as well as far as the NFL is concerned. Then we do have a story about the Heisman Trophy winner, should have won it, Kyler Murray, on whether he should choose baseball or football. And we'll talk about that next week.
Yes, the red, white, and leaf.
That is interesting. And then in 2 weeks, we will do a NASCAR preview. So be ready for that. What's NASCAR stand for? The National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing.
I can't take that from you. I just can't. All I'm going to say is race car spelled backwards is race car.
It's amazing. That's amazing. That's an amazing fact right there. So, yes, NASCAR, the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing, starts 2 weeks after SB53.
Right now, I can see Reflex writing race car down just to see if I'm right.
Yeah, I can see Reflex doing that. I don't even know Reflex, but if he's
called in. He was the one that called in to help break our record to make it 3 one time.
Right. Oh, so we've spoken to Reflex.
Yes, we have.
I need to remember that the real name there, because I think I've gotten the anyway.
Dakota? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've gotten a friend request. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and sign off now, which I've been trying to do for a moment. But this has been the Ferocious Bunny Productions presents the iconic Drew and Diamondback Sports Opinion Show.